Hi, Ebenezer researchers. We are working this week to continue our lessons and our project that we began last week with research and writing informational text about animals. Last week, Ms. Evans gave us a very helpful tutorial video that helped you navigate and use the research that was on South Carolina Discus to find information about your animal that you were choosing to study to create your project about. Today, I'm going to start the second step of this project, but I also am attaching with your lessons today, your lesson videos will have an additional link that Ms. Evans has created a project board or a choice board where you have different links that you can go to continue your research. So if you still need to gather a little bit more information, as I do, then I'm going to use that project choice board to go back and find out a little bit more about the basic needs of the ostrich. But I've put my brochure up today to kind of get a start on my sloppy copy and help us bridge the work we did last week as researchers and this week as authors. We are going to be compiling this work in the form of one of three choices. I mentioned to you that you could do a poster, you could do a book, or you could do a brochure. And in those pieces, I would like whichever one you choose to create your project with for you to use some features of text. So for example, today in my brochure, I found some words that I think I would highlight if I were creating a brochure for this. Some of you might use bold words as an informational text feature to use in your brochure or your book. But if you are writing a book, you would need a table of contents to get you started. And I am doing a brochure, so I don't need a table of contents, but I will definitely use those headings. So my brochure is divided and it will fold inward to have a cover page here that I can use to show illustrations. I could print out pictures. I could do diagrams, but I'm going to write my rough draft of my first piece of writing. So I'm going to begin with the part about the basic needs. Now, since this is my rough draft, if I choose to go in today to Miss Evans' choice board and use some other links that she has, I might find some other basic needs that I could make copies, I could make notes on my draft, and then put it into my writing. Here is the start of my basic needs section of my writing. So I'm going to use this part of the brochure and I'm going to give it a heading. And of course, I don't need the word ostrich in my section on basic needs. I just need the heading that this section is going to talk about the basic needs of an ostrich. So my sentence might start with, an ostrich eats or grazes, because that's a vocabulary word I liked in the research I used, or grazes on grasses from the plains. Remember, the plains here are not like airplanes, but the flatlands and the plains of where they live. So they graze on grasses. They also, they being the ostriches, also eat insects and lizards. And in my notes, when I copied it, I put lizards and insects. So here, when I was writing it in my own sentence, I turned it around to change it up just a bit. They also eat insects and lizards. And then the other part is we talked about one of the basic needs that ostriches need are water. We all need water to survive. So ostriches get the water they need from the plants they eat. Now, if you notice, I gave 3 sentences here that took the notes that I had bulleted over under the basic needs, and I turned that into writing just to write 3 short sentences that talk about the needs they get and the needs they meet through what they eat and drink. So I'm finished with my sloppy copy or my rough draft of the basic needs. Now, definitely I'll need to edit it and make sure that all of it sounds correct. So I'll reread before I move on to the next section with you on Wednesday. I might go back, as I said, and add some more information from my choice board that Miss Evans sent me. But when I go to that choice board, please remember the biggest focus we have in 2nd grade as researchers is we will not copy it word for word from a website. We will take notes, as we did last week, bulleted notes that have short little phrases that we can turn into our own sentences to write our information. Now, there might be a spelling error or 2 in here. There might be something that we edit and revise, because remember, as writers and authors, the first attempt we make at something is kind of a sloppy copy or a rough draft. So I have this paper up here for my rough draft of my brochure, and I will continue to work on it this week a little at a time. This will be a finished product by the end of the week, and I will have it published and ready to go as my complete research project for my animals. We look forward to coming back to Wednesday to work on their habitat of my animal and to answer any questions you might have during your Zooms with your teachers during the week about this work. Continue to be good researchers, continue to do great jobs as writers and editors of your writing, and we will see you back on Wednesday.